Welcome back. As promised, something a little special. This is quite rare. This is a lawnmower made by a company called Follows and Bates in Manchester. Now, Follows and Bates probably are a company most people probably haven't heard of. They were taken over in the late 1938-ish, something like that, by Qualcast. So they've been gone a long time, but like a lot of the old stuff, nicely made. Follows and Bates, as you can see, they made lawnmowers. They made roller mowers like this little machine here. They made side wheel mowers. They also made kitchen utensils for the kitchen, believe it or not. They also made things for the garden like barrows. They also made some very, very nice seats for outside. So they weren't just mowers, but they've made a lot of nice things in the past. But today we've got an 8-inch cut roller mower. This is one, as I said, I've had for a long time, and I've been meaning to do it for a long time, but not really had the time. And I've got a bit fired up since YouTube, so I think it's well time that we got on with the machine. So, as I said, we've got 8-inch cut. This is very similar to the Greens Multum in Parvo, but just a little bit smaller. Again, it's very, very similar. It's gear driven, as we can see here. And the blades have got these rather nice little pins in there to hold them in, no welding again. Originally would have had a grass box and a thrower plate, which I'm missing. Would be nice to get hold of that, but I don't think I probably will. The thrower plate can be made up, but the box is going to be very difficult to get. So it's been painted up over the years, but I think it deserves a full restoration. As you can see, it's got quite a bit of damage. We've got some damage here, and I'm going to get the camera lady to zoom in here. So it looks like in the past somebody's done some repair work about there, and that looks to me like it's been brazed. They did a lot of that back in the old days. Cast iron's a pig of a thing to fix together, and brazing was very, very popular. And when it's done properly, as you can see back there, it holds rather well. The only thing that's really worrying me at the moment, I've been looking at it, so if we just turn it over, the roller here has got some quite nasty cracks in it, so let's have a look if we can find it. Here we go. So what we've got there, we've got some quite nasty cracks there, and we're talking sort of, you can sort of hear it, and it starts there, and I think it finishes back there somewhere. So I've got to be very, very careful if I start welding that, which I'm going to have a go. Hopefully I can repair it, but that's going to be quite a challenge. So it's going to be a complete strip down and restore it. So this particular machine, as you can see, we'll just turn it around here. We've got obviously the make, Follows and Bates, patent, Manchester, 1875. Now, as far as we know, speaking to a few friends, that's about when it was made, somewhere around there. So this is getting on for 150 years old, a genuine antique. So it's a very, very old mower. So hopefully we can do something with it. And one of the other things that's quite interesting is you tend to find a lot of the older machines like this. They don't have, like the Greens, a freewheel ratchet system in the roller. So you can see when you pull this one back, it's driving both ways. So that sort of dates it a little bit. A lot of the early machines were like that. They didn't have that. So yeah, quite interesting. So there we have it. So I think just while we're talking about Follows and Bates, I've got something else just very interesting. We won't go too mad, but we've got another example of a Follows and Bates machine. Now this is a Follows and Bates marmalade slicer. One of the kitchen utensils I was talking about. How about that then? So obviously it was fastened to your kitchen bench, the screw, and your fruit obviously would go in the back there. And look at that blade there. I mean, it does need sharpening, but look, you've got that, screwed it on to the bench. How about that? Health and safety at its finest. But again, what a lovely thing. Follows and Bates, Limited, the new universal marmalade machine, Manchester. So what a lovely thing. So maybe at some point I'll do that as well. They do mincers as well. It's quite surprising what they do. And I've got a feeling from what I've seen quite a lot of these marmalade slicers in different guises. But I think they were quite popular. So they are around. I've seen them, and I've seen them on eBay. So they were obviously a very good seller for them. Garden machinery is obviously was a good thing, but I've got a feeling they were better known for some of their kitchen utensils. But again, like the mowers, beautifully made. Lovely thing. Right, so back to the mower. Now, I think what I thought about doing, what I normally like to do is I normally like to soak them, all the nuts and bolts, leave it for a while. Patience is the key with these things, as we know, and you need buckets of it. So what I was going to do is I was going to soak it and then leave it and soak it again, take it apart. But I've got a feeling, I might be wrong, but I've got a feeling it's going to come apart fairly easily. So we'll make a start now, we'll have a go, see what happens. Hopefully I'm not about to break any parts right in front of my YouTube followers. So we'll give it all a bit of a squirt and see what happens. Luckily, as you can see, it spent most of its time indoors, so it's not been dragged out of a hedge. So I'm hoping that, as I say, it's going to come apart. So we'll see how we get on. I really shouldn't be using an adjustable spanner here, but there we go. So let's crack that one off. Same with that one. That one's a bit more stubborn. Really be using my lovely Whitworth spanners, but I haven't got them here today, so see whether that went better. What I'm going to try and avoid doing is breaking as little as possible. There's enough work to do on this without me breaking stuff. Let's have somebody put my nuts and bolts in. So these bottom ones, let's see how we get on with those. We'll be using a socket on that, I think. So I did take a couple of pictures of it just before I started the filming. I think with this one, it's all fairly straightforward. I will try and keep everything back where it was. For instance, these handle tie bars, I'll try and make sure they go back in the same place. for a bit. Right, so there we have it. Isn't that pretty? I think that's the thing with a lot of the Victorian stuff. It didn't just have to work, it had to look good as well. It's lovely, isn't it? So, being the fact that somebody has welded this before, these are coming undone nicely. I'm going to expose the lovely gears. How about that? Doesn't look like they're too worn either, so and that one's quite surprising. I've got a feeling somebody's probably made a new one of those up. It looks too good to be true. So anyway, that's good, because that's going to save me a bit of work. So anyway, roll the scraper plate off. Now then, right, so hopefully this centre gear will just slide straight off, as it does. Yeah, these you can see have got these little wedge-shaped pins in there to hold them. They're sort of tapered. And normally the way to get those off, you just sort of tap the sprocket, and then obviously, hopefully with a bit of wriggling, you can get those off. But I think what I might do, if I can, I'm probably going to get those off and soak them later, because I really don't want to break these. Break any of these gears, so I'm probably going to see if I can drop the roller out with the gear on there, and a bit later on I'll be careful and try and tap the sprocket and get the little tapered key out. I suppose, yeah, you would call it a key. You would call it a key. So let's have a look. So hopefully that will come through. Push that through. Right, let's see what's happening then. So if we can push that through, hoping the whole roller will come out. There we are. So unroll it. So as we can see, as I said, there's no ratchet system in there at all. That's back to basics, isn't it? That's the roller. Let's pop that over there. Right, so hopefully the rest of it. Not much left of it now, so it is very, very similar, the design and the way it is all together, to the little Greens Molten in Parvo. Roller out. Put that there. And the way it all adjusts, again, for the cutting cylinder, if you look back at the little greens, you can see it's a very similar system. Basic but good. So, all being well, if we undo these, the cylinder will come out. So, put that there, that there. Broken bit there. Right, so all being well, this will come out the cutting cylinder. One cutting cylinder. So we'll keep the blocks together. just really the bottom block, and then we've got it all apart. So my next thing is I'm going to try and find some original paint somewhere if I can, and then I can hopefully get a good match for it. Normally with these things, obviously this has been repainted. Normally with these things, somewhere, unless somebody's completely removed all of the paint, you can find a little bit of original somewhere. It'd be nice if I can, because I'm really not sure whether this would be a dark or a light green. They did tend to use a lot of light greens in a lot of the early machines, so it might just be that the last person to paint it did paint it this dark colour or completely stripped it. But I'm going to have a look and see what I can find for a match. So we've got those two that side. And again, a little bit like the Greens Multum in Parvo, which is quite nice. I've not really looked at this too hard. We've got some adjustment for the sprocket, which is on that little slider there, up and down, which is good. But looking at the gears, they look good. So hopefully I don't need too much adjustment. So once we've undone this, I think we're nearly there. A bottom blade or not is another thing. It's looking a bit low, because I think I'm going to sharpen this as well, a little bit like the greens. We'll sharpen this as well and get it to cut. So there you have it. I think we're going to call it a day for that. I'm going to be patient with, as I said, this sprocket. I really don't want to break that. And again, with that one. So I'm going to soak those between the next video and hopefully get those off. And then I think the next video we might do a little bit on the welding and any progress I'm making. So I think I've got quite a lot to do. So I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the Follows and Bates 8-inch roller hand mower. There'll be another video to come at some point. Thanks again for watching.